Hey guys, it's Magda K here, your intimacy expert, and welcome to my channel. If you are returning, it's so amazing to see you again, or maybe you're brand new to this place. Maybe you got really curious about the topic of this video. Well then, welcome. So here we talk about anything related to intimacy, love, relationships, and sex. Now, if you guys have been here for a while, you know that I talk about open relationships quite often, and even recently we had some videos here on the channel because inside of our membership platform, the School of Intimacy, I was hosting a 6-week long challenge dedicated to open relationships. By the way, if you want to access all of these materials, they're still inside of the School of Intimacy, so make sure to check the link below in the description of this video if you want to join the school and access all of these materials. Now, I've also shared a lot about my experience when I was practicing open relationships, and again, you'll find a lot of content about the tips on how to do it and my personal experience. Today, I want to talk about the other side. I want to talk about monogamy, and more specifically, how I was absolutely ashamed to admit that I wanted a monogamous relationship. So one of the pillars of my work and also my own personal healing journey has always been sexual freedom, sexual empowerment, and liberation. And I experienced so much of it because of Tantra. So some of you guys know my story. Now it's gonna be quite many years ago. I was searching for the answer why I wasn't orgasmic, why I couldn't relax and be in my body, and that brought me to Tantra and practices with sacred sexuality. And so the community of Tantra, I should maybe say modern Tantra, has been extremely helpful and really allowed me to release a lot of trauma, heal my body, heal shame around sexuality, and really own it, and not only give me my first orgasm and many more to come, but also put me on the path of becoming a Tantra teacher and doing this work. And yet, it was the same community that actually caused a lot of shame around the fact that I wanted a monogamous relationship. So in this community, there was a lot of manipulation. A lot of this manipulation was subtle. Some of it was not so subtle, but basically open relationships were considered better. They were considered more conscious, more spiritual, and of course, people were expected to have multiple lovers at any given time. Sex was encouraged. Tantric sex was encouraged, and for many reasons, you were meant to have multiple lovers so that you can work with many different aspects of energies. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that if you were not relating in an open way, you were actually frowned upon. So you would experience a lot of judgment. So what was happening in this community is that a lot of, and this was mostly women, but a lot of women agreed to an open relationship because that was the only way to be in a relationship, even though it was really traumatizing for them and very difficult. And also anytime someone felt jealous, again, it was looked at like, whoa, you're not very conscious, you have to do more yoga, more meditation, sublime all of this energy, as in like any forms of jealousy or insecurity in intimate relationships was considered Maya, the illusion that you're meant to move through to God. I remember there was this one couple and they really struggled to open their relationship, and honestly, people were like gossiping about them as if like those two are just not as conscious as the rest of the community. And so that was like, there was a lot of pressure to, in fact, be open. So when I got into the community, I was introduced to the idea of open relationships, and at that time in my life where I was, it really suited me perfectly, and I really loved it. I thought that I found the best way to relate. And I remember I was telling everyone back home that I will never go back to monogamy, like this is the way to do things. But what I didn't realize at the time, I wasn't conscious about it, is that open relationships allowed me to hide. So I didn't have to face some of my deep fears because I had multiple lovers. So I never had to feel abandoned and rejected because I always had someone else. I was also afraid to commit at that time, and I didn't have to. But over time, what started happening was that I did want commitment. I did want to share my life with someone. I wanted to go deeper, and I wanted to reveal myself fully to another human being. I wanted to be seen fully. I wanted to be vulnerable. And I realized that actually would be met more by a monogamous relationship. But I was so scared to admit it. Mostly, I couldn't admit it to myself. After doing open relationships for a couple of years, and again, being in that community that so strongly believed that open relationships are better, more conscious, more spiritual, I couldn't admit to myself that I didn't want to be in an open relationship. And to add to this, so many people in these communities, they use vocabulary that perpetuate this idea. So I have a lot of friends who practice open relationships and teach this, and I think it's amazing. But a lot of people use words such as a more progressive relationship style or a new paradigm. It's like the words that they use implies that, yeah, it's a better form of a relationship. So I've been surrounded by this just like everywhere. And so then I met someone and I fell in love very deeply, and I honestly wanted to spend the rest of my life with this guy. But because I was scared to admit I wanted a monogamous relationship, I put myself through torture. I loved him so deeply. I went deeper with him than I had with anyone else before. I did not want to share him in any way, but I just couldn't say this. And so there's so many situations that happened that I, in a way, allowed, or I just didn't say no to, because again, I just felt so embarrassed to admit that I did feel jealous, that I did feel insecure, and that I wanted us to be exclusive. And it caused me a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. And it took me a long time after that relationship to heal everything and recover. But it was also what I needed to finally admit to myself that I do not want to be in an open relationship. At least for now, I want a monogamous relationship. So the way I look at all of it today is that monogamy isn't better, polyamory or open relationships are not better. These are simply two different ways of doing relationships. And ultimately, everything we do in life is about how many desires and needs it will meet and how much pain it will protect us from. So for some people, monogamy is something better, and for others, non-monogamy will be more suited. And so for me, I guess what I would really love to see is to actually accept both, because people practicing open relationships have experienced a lot of shame, and until today it happens. I have friends who are in an open marriage and they have to hide. It's a secret, because if anyone knew about this in their environment, they're like high profile people, it would be a scandal. Like they could really get in trouble, probably media would write about them. So they have to keep it a secret, and that's just kind of not nice if you have to do that. The fact that you cannot tell your family that you have multiple lovers because they will not understand. So I understand that people who are polyamorous, who have been practicing open relationships for a while, that they really want to be accepted and have space to just openly practice their type of relationships. I also understand that our society, all the law in our countries, it is basically just for a monogamous relationship. Like in open relationships, all the partners don't have the same legal rights. So I understand this, but I also don't like the fact that now people who practice open relationships end up shaming and attacking monogamy. Like, here's a crazy idea. What if we just let people choose the relationship that they prefer? Assuming it's consensual, that everyone is safe and no one gets hurt. Like, I would assume that people have the ability and should have space to decide if they want monogamy or non-monogamy without needing to put any of these types of relationships down. Like, you don't need to blame the opposite model to feel, that you are allowed to relate in a way that you want to relate. So I just hope that we can make space for both. And I just, I wanted to share this video because it's so funny. When I first got into open relationships, the amount of shame that I experienced around that from, people were just like attacking me, trying to prove to me that no, you're wrong and all of that. And I was just like, oh my God, you really know better than me? But then I experienced the exact same thing towards monogamy, and I don't think any of these is very supportive for anyone. So this video is to basically tell anyone that if you are monogamous, it does not mean that you are less conscious. It does not mean that you are not able to relate to someone or that you need to work through something. It's not the case. Everyone has some wounds and some traumas that we always can look at, but you have the right to pick the type of a relationship that you want to have. And instead of judging people by what type of a relationship they want, if you really want to judge people, how about we judge them by how they show up in this relationship? And my love, if you want to be able to show up better, if you want to learn the skills, the tips, the practices to really be able to create healthy, harmonious, passionate relationship for many, many years to come, then make sure to check out the School of Intimacy. It is literally what this place is for. It is for men and women, singles, and any form of a relationship, whether you're in a monogamous or a non-monogamous relationship. It will give you all the knowledge that no one has taught us because our sex education really sucks. So you're gonna learn things about your body, about relationships, around sex and orgasm that you never heard about. I guarantee you, you're gonna end up with your eyes open and your mouth dropped when you listen to some of the content. And it's really something to help you show up as the best partner for yourself, for your beloved, and for the relationship. So make sure to check the link in the description of this video. We have a 7-day free trial so you can try it out, no risk, no money involved, see if you like it, and then you can make a decision. My love, thank you so much for being here, for watching this video. I hope that you got value from it, and if you did, please give it a like. I would love to hear from you, so comment below this video as well. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed, and make sure to click this little bell icon so you know when a new video comes out and you don't have to worry about missing anything. And the last thing, I would also love to connect with you on Instagram. It's Magda K Official. I post every day more insights, more tips in a more personal and informal way, so I would love to see you there as well. My love, once again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you with the next video. Bye!